We are back on the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA. Time for our picks segment. Todd Walker here, Doug Jenkins, Mike Miller joining me. Also our video segment on 1150 WIMA.com. And Doug, heading into the final week, you have a one-game lead on me, and Miller basically mathematically eliminated according to JoeItel.com.
Yeah, we consulted with Joe, and he said that Mike actually was out of the running back in week 5.
At least he's talking about me.
I mean, he was still mathematically alive, but,
Not anymore.
Yeah, okay, so mathematically he's eliminated. Last week, we had two differing opinions, and we traded on them.
Yeah.
You took Lipsick over Corey Rawson, which, had I known Corey Rawson's quarterback had broke his arm the week before, I might have thought differently.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that. You got lucky.
I did. I didn't tell you. So.
And then Elida and Defiance. You two took Defiance.
That's right.
I went with Elida and ended up holding on to that one-game lead.
It was defining.
Well, that was a great game. It was
absolutely.
Great fun to be there. Now let's get to this week's picks. Let's start with our broadcast game, Bluffton at Columbus Grove. Bulldogs with a playoff berth on the line. If they win, they're in. I'm taking Columbus Grove. I just think Bluffton will play hard. I think they've got a pretty good defense, but offensively they've been limited. You look at their yardage totals and their point totals through the year, they're not scoring very much. This is probably a 3 or 4 touchdowns to 1 or 2 kind of game. Columbus Grove should win this game.
Yeah, I think Bluffton will come out and play Columbus Grove pretty tough to begin with, but in the end, what are you playing for at this point? At this point, Bluffton playing for pride, that's all well and good, but when Columbus Grove has a playoff spot on the line, considering the way they started off, they're going to finish. I'm going with Grove.
I would say motive is a big part of it tonight. But other factors, certainly these teams are ball control teams. Ball's going to be on the ground a lot. How wet is it going to be tonight? Right. And who's protecting the ball? I mean, if Grove dribbles the ball around the lot, who knows what can happen. But for a whole variety of reasons, this is Columbus Grove set up nicely to win.
And Grove can be in with a win. Let's head over to the NWCC. Waynesfield at Fairbanks. Tigers are 8-1. They will be in the playoffs with a win. Both teams are undefeated in the league as per the norm. Who do you got tonight, Doug?
I will take the Tigers. And on the quickest side, I wonder if people at Waynesfield Goshen get as upset as people do at Ottawa Glandorf when you leave off the second name from their school. Is Waynesfield Goshen? We always call it Waynesfield, much like if you leave the Glandorf off of Ottawa Glandorf, you're going to hear about it. Thus far, no complaints from Goshen.
There's a big difference because Waynesfield is the town, Goshen is the township.
Right? Yeah.
See, Ottawa is a town, Glandorf is a town.
Right.
See, yeah, you can't separate.
No complaints from Goshen residents thus far,
right.
but I've always wondered about that.
You're taking Waynesfield and Goshen.
Yes, I'll take them both.
Fairbanks.
Yes,
okay.
Why not?
I've got the Tigers as well. Pretty stout defense through the year. If you look at how they've played in within the league, as both teams have played the same teams, obviously, throughout the season. You see Waynesfield better defensively. I like that late in the season especially. I'll take the Tigers on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to concur with that. I would only just say on the Ottawa Glandorf thing, if you take Glandorf out of there, you take away their state titles in basketball and some other sports. There's no doubt about it. Waynesfield all the way in this game.
All right, let's move ahead to the MAC. Only one game really has any suspense tonight or any real meaning as Anna visits Marion Local. Now the Flyers are 4-5. Even if they lose, they might get in the playoffs. Yeah. But either of these teams wins, they're in. They control their own destiny. Marion Local really has struggled since early in the year when they beat Shawnee. They've gone through some injuries and other things. Anna is strong. I got to take the Rockets.
Well, we're not going to differ on this one either, Todd. And when we thought about the picks beforehand, I thought Anna. And I'm not playing defense. I really think the Rockets have the momentum here, and they're going to get in the playoffs. They're going to get the job done. I'll take Anna.
There you go.
I think so, too. All due respect to Marion Local, Timmy Goodwin, their great history and tradition. Any team that loses 5 in a row is not going to beat the Anna Rockets.
That's a good point as well. More picks now. We'll go to the Western Buckeye League, and we've got Van Wert Shawnee. And this is a game that Shawnee is hoping can get them in the playoffs. They need the two teams directly ahead of them to lose, plus they need to win, plus they need other things. Those games they're watching are Graham, got Goshen on the mind. Graham and Urbana play. Graham is 9th in the region. Shawnee is 10th. The number 8 team is Bryan. They play Evergreen. Ironically, Brian also played Van Wert.
Yeah.
So if Shawnee beats Van Wert tonight, hurts Brian on second level points. But Evergreen, probably not going to beat Brian. Same story for Urbana and Graham. Nonetheless, Shawnee will win this game and finish 7-3.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Van Ward's coming in a bit banged up, too. Corey Clifton was out in the second half of last week's game against Ottawa Glandorf. They've got to have Corey Clifton to have any sort of chance in this game, and without him, that's going to be difficult. Their backup came in and did a serviceable job, but Corey Clifton's really the motor that makes that offense go. Without him, yeah, no chance.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to playing conditions tonight, Todd. I think if it's going to be wet, and if it's going to be wet, that will almost by default, along with what Doug says about possible injuries to Clifton, slow the Van Wert option attack down, and the Shawnee front seven and their linebackers will stuff the run and make it 7 in a row.
Yeah, I was taking Shawnee anyway, and the Clifton situation just makes it easier and more obvious. You take Shawnee. St. Mary's desperate for a win. Kenton tuning up for the playoffs in Kenton tonight. Mike, how do you see this one playing out?
I think actually Kenton has had a few injuries with some of their guys, so I don't suspect that Coach Mogg is going to necessarily put the pedal down. I think he's going to take it somewhat easy on St. Mary's. He'll score what he needs, and then he's going to give some other guys a chance here tonight. He just wants to win and advance because it's all about the playoffs now. The league is in the bank, but it's not about losing. Kenton wins a close game.
All right.
I don't know. Do the Wildcats take the pedal off for anybody? It doesn't. I really don't think it depends on the situation. Kenton plays Kenton football, and I think they go for the jugular. They're going to beat St. Mary's tonight.
Yeah, I think it could get ugly as well. St. Mary's is reeling. Last week, Shawnee completely shut them down. I don't think Kenton's defense is maybe that good, but
it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think St. Mary's will score more than a touchdown tonight. When you got ones on ones, maybe late in the game, something happens.
Yeah.
But I think Kenton all the way. Elida at Wapak, as Elida tries to get a 500 season and a finish, I believe, would be 4 straight wins to end the season. I'm taking Elida tonight. I think they're really rolling. I don't think they're going to let Wapakoneta ruin what would be a great finish to their season, hopefully signaling a turnaround for the Orange and Black for good to a contender in the Western Buckeye League. I'll take the Bulldogs.
I also will, but I do want to point out that, hey, all of a sudden you're back on the Elida bandwagon. Earlier in the year, you and Miller taking Elida willy-nilly. I'm taking Elida. I feel good about him. Then last week, you kick him to the curb. You turn on him like a pro wrestler, and to take defiance in that battle. And look where it got you. 1 game behind me, Todd.
Let me explain
Shame on you.
Let me explain something to you. I'm not a bandwagon guy. Each week is an event unto itself. I'm still taking Elida.
Me too.
I'm taking Wapakoneta tonight. I think again, I go back to what I'm convinced is going to be a rainy situation. It's going to hurt the Elida aerial attack. Wapakoneta will have their starting running back from the opening of the year. Logan Erb will be back for a second consecutive week.
Well, a little inside info.
He was a big factor in that first quarter last week against Kenton. And if Tabler and Schaefer are back, I think Wapakoneta has the weaponry to get it done. They're going to beat Elida in a close game.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because I don't know if I've had Elida right all year. I mean, you're right on that, Doug. I've been all over the map with Elida. Frankly,
a bit of honesty.
I can't figure them out. I'm taking them anyway. Final pick, tomorrow night's game. It's all on the line in the Northwest Conference. Doesn't mean anything for the playoffs. Ada at LCC. I think LCC, when you look over the last 4 years since Mike Fell came in with Zach Dysert, then Mitchell Fain, the Heath Jackson, all that, LCC has consistently handled Ada. Even though they lost to them last year, they weren't as good as Ada. I think LCC saves their best for Ada. I'm taking the Birds.
Well, we keep talking about Heath Jackson at quarterback and what the impact he has. Let's not forget about Tyler O'Connor. He is the real deal. I said it earlier in the year. I'll say it again. He's very talented. I take the T-Birds as well.
I'm picking Ada to finish the perfect 10-0, beat the T-Birds for a second year in a row. I just think Heath Jackson, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for him to really step up and remind us again just how good of an athlete he is, better than anybody else on the field. Ada beats the Birds Saturday night.
Well, he is the best athlete, and he may be capable of one man wrecking crewing it, but I'm still taking the Birds. So Doug and I picked all the same, so he's going to win the picks by 1 game. But Mike picked two different than us. He's still toast.
Yep.
We'll take a break, come back with more of the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA and 1150WIMA.com.